Okay, can everyone see the screen? They can. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. So today we have Oksana here. She'll be giving us a presentation on how to get into cybersecurity. So Oksana is a cybersecurity solutions architect at Bank of Canada. She obtained her bachelor's degree in internal business management and a master's in environmental management and sustainability. So her career at the bank started as as in the banking industry where she worked for the financial services, and her fascination with cybersecurity led to self-study, and she completely changed her field into cybersecurity. So Oksana started a cybersecurity path at the 24/7 SOC 2 Keys, followed by consulting with Accenture as a Senior Information Security Analyst. And further contributing, she developed a cybersecurity knowledge with a SaaS company called Kinaxis. And now currently, Oksana is at Bank of Canada, where she built the cyber threat third-party management program. And after you, Oksana.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to talk about how to get into cybersecurity. It's definitely an important topic, and it's not a one-way path for everyone. Throughout my career, I met cybersecurity professionals from all walks of life. The most common and straightforward is definitely someone who was studying computer science degree and decided to pursue cybersecurity right off the college. But at the same time, I've met so many people who studied psychology and education, engineering, or something completely different. And they totally excelled in this field and are excelling. They are thought leaders. I've met these professionals at the famous SANS conference and other conferences as well. And since cybersecurity is quite a new field, and only recently it gained enough traction in the news and popularity among other disciplines, it's common to see someone with a completely different background. And the way you get into this field is not always straightforward, especially if you see the job posts for entry level positions asking 5 years of cybersecurity experience. So, what I was hoping to do today is to share my personal journey, how I got into this field, what challenges and opportunities were in front of me, what exactly helped me get my first cybersecurity job, and could easily translate to others to have the same result. I will touch on my experience when I did get a job and what cybersecurity domains are out there, what you can expect to know and do when you choose that specific specialty. And hopefully, my experience can help you with your next steps, what to focus on if you really want to get into this field. I will also share my personal contact information at the end of presentation. So if any one of you want to chat offline, I'm more than happy to do that. All right. So I started my journey in completely different fields, nothing related to cybersecurity, not even remotely close to IT. My undergraduate degree was in international business management, and then I pursued Master of Environment and Sustainability. At a time, I read so many reports that sustainability is a hot topic. There are countless jobs in the field, and to be fair, I was outside of Canada at a time, and I didn't know that Canada had significant resources, and the environment was not exactly the hot topic that could create sufficient job market. So I graduated with this degree in 2012 and moved from Saskatoon to Ottawa. And to give you a little bit of a context, government administration at a time was cutting funding for different programs, including environment. And also, if you know Ottawa job market, you typically need to have knowledge of some level of French, security clearance. There are different levels for different jobs, either enhanced, secret, or top secret. And not only did I not have any French, I couldn't apply for security clearance because I was not in the country for long enough. So I didn't have any network in my new at a time city, but also I was on a work visa, which is not an option for most government jobs. So here I am, master's graduate, looking for anything and anywhere I can get my foot in the door, hundreds of applications, and your typical black hole response from most of them. So at a time, I would go to different career fairs, including the ones on university campuses. And what I noticed was that 9 out of 10 jobs were information technology related. Recruiters were super interested in students who were studying anything IT, and I could hear them convincing students how good they are as a company. And I also learned that the pay was pretty good for both interns and also advertised permanent roles. So at a time, it was unimaginable for me to go back to university after I just graduated with master's degree. So I decided to leverage my undergraduate degree and try not to mention masters. I was fortunate enough to get my first job in banking, where I was a financial services rep. But quite quickly, I hit the ceiling and I wanted to go further, I achieved more. And that's when my thoughts went back, thinking maybe it's not that crazy of an idea to switch my career. I really wanted to never look for a job, but for a job to look for me. And as an added bonus, at a time my husband happened to jump careers and join cybersecurity in the company he worked at. So I had that firsthand look into what this cybersecurity is all about, because I thought it was all coding and you had to be a developer, which to be honest, I didn't mind learning how to do that either, but I was quite intimidated by that. The most important, I made up my mind and I wanted to be in IT field, and cybersecurity was the one that I chose. I started to research a lot about cybersecurity, what I need to know, where to start, and out of my research, I noticed three things. When I looked at all these job postings, they're all of them were looking for these three things: lots of experience, expensive cybersecurity certificates, and computer science background. Guess what? I had none of these, but I knew it's my opportunity. So I became fascinated with the field. I knew it's growing, the demand is strong. More and more companies are interested in cybersecurity to protecting their data, their environment, their network. The news were spotlighting the data breaches more and more. So there was awareness, and nobody really knew what cybersecurity is about. And I also noticed that anything IT related is also has a really high demand, and it's just growing. User experience or quality assurance testing, and if anything software IT related, really. But I chose cybersecurity as my focus. I was really interested in it. I was fascinated with an idea that I could prevent bad guys from exploiting companies, stealing data, or corrupting the environment. So, yeah, cybersecurity was that mythical topic that I wanted to demystify. Nobody really understood what they should do to protect themselves. Even like personally, I thought it's a good idea to, to know this knowledge so I can help my family, my friends, my peers, and I wanted to be part of this change. And as they say, catch the wave. And I knew there will be more regulations, compliance requirements. People and companies will care more, not less, about cybersecurity as time will go by. I looked at other countries, and even right now, you will notice that in Europe, they have very strong privacy laws and regulations for cybersecurity. And in the States as well, there are many regulations as well. So I can see it's coming. We have some of that in Canada, and I can see how that will be coming more and more to Canada. So you will definitely see more demand, not less. And I definitely wanted to be part of that. So at that point, I had to decide how do I get my foot in the door. So I started to look at different conferences and meetups that happen in Ottawa. And if you look wherever you are, if you look at your city, you'll probably see different chapters for different topics. Like, for example, I know B-Sides and OWASP. They have chapters in different cities. There are also university clubs and SANS conferences. Those tend to be expensive, and I would recommend them once you do have a job, so your employer supports you. HTCIA. So I decided I'm going to go to whatever is in Ottawa. I started attending OWASP. It's a great meetup, and I really didn't understand anything that was presented. And it's really was not the point. You know, you should not be intimidated by the talk, but it's more being in the environment of all these cybersecurity professionals. So you can talk to them, you can ask questions, you know, you can volunteer and be helpful. You will be surprised how much knowledge and information you can gain, and other opportunities will open up for you. I know networking is not a popular topic and it's not something everyone's looking forward to, but cybersecurity is a small community, and once you attend these different events, you meet professionals in different companies, and you know, it's not going to be too long when they will think of you when there is a opening in their company. So definitely keep an open mind. Some of you will find jobs right after graduation, but be open to explore other opportunities, because once you get more experience, you get more confidence, you'll pick up new skills, and you know, many more opportunities will open up. Oh, it's something that I use to get my foot in the door and start my learning path. I found this book, Getting an Information Security Job for Dummies. That's perfect. That was exactly me. I read the book from cover to cover, and I really tried to apply the principles and basic knowledge to my job search. Something that I want to highlight for you is that you never qualify for jobs you apply at the beginning. Really ignore the job description, because if you think of it from the hiring manager's perspective, they sometimes advertise in the job that didn't exist before, and sometimes job description is just a copy paste from somewhere else. It's not necessarily will reflect the true job that you will be doing. So don't get intimidated by that. You will, if you qualify for 50% of the job description, it's good enough. Don't disqualify yourself. The hiring manager or the interviewer, they will disqualify you. So don't worry about that. Just just look for something that you are truly interested and you're passionate about, and it will be seen. All right. So how was my first encounter with cybersecurity? So as I started going to all these conferences, one of them was B-Sides, and B-Sides is an excellent conference. It's created by community. It happens once a year. Used to happen. I think they had it virtual, and hopefully it comes back because it's so much more fun in person. But at a time when I went to B-Sides, I would literally talk to anyone I could find, like vendors, businesses, and I knew there was one hiring manager for the SOC, Security Operations Center, and he was looking for someone for entry-level job. So I approached him and I told him my story, how interested I am, and that I don't have any cybersecurity experience whatsoever, but I have passion and I learn fast. I'm detail oriented, and I want to be part of this field. And I told him that I'm really learning all the time. I'm a fast learner, and I asked him if he has an advice for me how I can get into this field. He was very open, and he said that I can do the entry-level job. You just need to follow the procedures. And I'm perfect at following the procedures. I was in the financial services before. That's where you follow the procedures. So he really liked that, and he told me to apply. I applied, and I didn't hear back. And that's very common. People get busy. So I didn't stop there. I followed up. I didn't follow up once or twice, maybe followed up 3 times. And I did get that interview that I so much was looking forward to. If you think from the hiring manager's perspective, they're looking for someone for let's say in this position situation, he was looking for the entry level role, someone who will be willing to do the night shifts because it was 24/7 operation, and not with a really great pay, and it's a really entry level. Somebody is detail oriented, and it's very difficult to find that person. So when I was following up, it rang the bell for him. Okay, maybe I should give her a try. So I did have that opportunity to interview, and I didn't just show up. I really prepared. I thought of different examples. I tried to relate my background in financial services to cybersecurity, and I really focused on transferable skills. You'll be surprised what percentage of your transferable skills, such as like report writing, presentation skills, communication skills, teamwork, will be applicable to the technical cybersecurity job. Because any role that you will take in the future, or you have right now, I'm sure it involves a lot of following the procedures and improving procedures and writing the report, communicating that back, explaining. So all of that, if you really hone on these skills, you will differentiate yourself from others, and you will propel your career like no one else, because it's extremely difficult to find someone with the technical skills, hands-on experience, and someone who's willing to write reports in a concise and accurate manner and communicate well. That's such a rare find, and any manager will be so lucky to have that person. So I think those transferable skills really made a trick, and he gave me a chance. I got my first role in Security Operations Center as an operator. Nowadays, you will see that these security operations centers, they have different levels of analysts. You start at the bottom, like level 1, and complexity goes up, level 2, level 3. And in my case, so what is Security Operations Center? It's like a team, a department. You look at the different logs, you aggregate logs in a software called SIM, where logs come in from different systems. And then you will have to, use use cases to correlate different logs to understand if the event is the actual alert. You will get alerts and see if the alert is actual event on an incident. So there's quite a bit of analytical experience required, or analysis, or you learn how to do that. Of course, there's incident response, so quite a bit of under pressure work. But a lot of just following the steps, and that's what I could do really well, and then expand on my technical knowledge, and that gave me an opportunity to learn and to share and ask questions. I got my practical knowledge, not only what I knew theoretically from the books that I could read, but that practical knowledge was really good. But I think the key was that I had some of the night shifts, and if I like in night shifts, they were quieter than daytime work because you don't get emails, you don't have meetings. And during that time, when I looked at my peers, some of them would watch YouTube or snooze, but I will use that time as an opportunity to study and prepare for CISSP. CISSP is a gold standard of cybersecurity certifications. Typically, someone with 5+ years of experience will start looking into CISSP and prepare for it. But I decided that I'm going to jump and try to learn, because it gave me broad understanding and very important foundational knowledge and cornerstones of cybersecurity, so I could have intelligent conversations with directors and above. Once you get the certificate, you start seeing a lot of opportunities. you get promoted within a company or you see opportunities outside of the company. It really opens up a lot of doors for you. And as I was studying, I started to share my knowledge on my blog. I created infoseclady.com. Really, there's not much to it. I just wanted to explain what I was learning to myself, because that's a perfect way to learn, is once you explain it, you learn it really, really well. So I would try to explain it in my words, and I make a blog post out of it, and that's it. It really helped me to to get closer to passing the exam for CISSP. Surprisingly enough, for my next opportunity, this blog infoseclady.com differentiated me from another candidate, and the hiring manager at that firm told me that he really liked that I had a blog, although there is not much to it. So I was very surprised and impressed. So now I'm telling everybody, definitely have a medium where you share your knowledge. You may think you don't know much yet, but you definitely do. When you read news, you can share your opinions, and you learn some basics, and you can share that. That's already a content. So that was my first encounter with the cybersecurity, and as I got to that point of getting my first job in cybersecurity, there are a few important milestones that I went through, and which I want to emphasize them. I think these are the key points that helped me to succeed. I just wanted to reiterate them. So keep an open mind, especially when you are thinking that you're interested in this specific domain of cybersecurity. And I myself was very confused about different domains. There's the cybersecurity field is massive, and you have domains focused more on hands-on and more on analytical or like a broader program picture. So quite often, somebody who loves hands-on and technical type of work, they completely dislike and they don't want to hear about something like governance or compliance or risk management. But guess what? Learning those aspects really help you communicate and understand better the entire cybersecurity program. So keep an open mind, and same goes for someone who prefers least hands-on, like a GRC. Don't close your eyes learning technical skills. It's definitely a great skill and experience to know PowerShell and some scripting and Bash or whatever you learn. It helps you to talk with those other teams within cybersecurity. You understand better, and it helps you as a professional. You can be afraid, but do it anyways. Everyone has an imposter syndrome. I had one. When I started my career, I was thinking, what am I doing here among these brilliant people? And as you go through your career, you get more experience, more skills, and more confidence with it. Suddenly one day you wake up and you realize, oh, I know quite a bit. I'm actually sharing my knowledge, and I'm great at it. Never stop learning. The moment you get your first job in cybersecurity, this is the beginning of your learning path. There is so much to learn. There are always new exploits, new threats, new data breaches that you have to know about. You have to know how it happened, what were the steps, and there are different methodologies and frameworks. All of that is really helpful, and you need to keep up with evolving field. Networking will open many doors for you. Cybersecurity is a very small community. You will see eventually that some people you see in a couple of companies, and then you go from one company to another, and you start working with the same people a couple of times. It's such a small community. It's a good thing, and at the same time, it's a bad thing. You have to make sure you're a good professional that you will leave really good impression of yourself because it's a small community. And at the same time, it helps you to open many other doors because you start knowing other professionals who move around as well, and just sharing the experience, it helps you to make decisions, to learn something, to be a better professional. Be useful to others, share your knowledge, how ask for like being a volunteer somewhere, prepare for the job. Don't show up just hoping that you'll know the answers. Definitely think about different examples and relate your experience to the job description. Be resourceful. There are so many different mediums that you can follow. There are news, podcasts, meetups. It will definitely help you be a better professional. Make yourself part of this field before getting a job. You have to demonstrate that you're interested and you staying current. Now let's discuss various niches in cybersecurity field. So when I started and I was at the SOC, I was so confused. Where should I go? What is my preferred domain? I wasn't sure if I want to stay a more technical role or less technical, least hands-on. Eventually, I figured it out. So right now, I plotted for you just this visual, least hands-on to the most hands-on type of domain within cybersecurity, the way I see it. And there are definitely more domains, but it just gives you a visual representation and where you see yourself, how you feel. You can then see which domain maybe is a better fit for you. So from the least hands-on, it's definitely governance, risk and compliance, GRC in short. That's where you focus on cybersecurity policies, procedures, controls, objectives, standards, guidelines. You look at the cybersecurity as a program overall. You see how domains interact. And then you go closer to security architecture, which is an assessment of solutions or environments, networks. It's a lot of report writing and communication. Then security engineering, cloud security, a bit more of a hands-on is required because you're implementing, deploying solutions, troubleshooting, then incident response. Definitely more technical. You have to respond to incidents, understand where logs should come from, correlate them, DevSecOps. You start looking at the cloud security best practices, continuous integration, continuous deployment. What are best practices for containers and repository and images, the whole orchestration, application security, penetration testing. Definitely you need knowledge of coding different languages. You need to know methodologies, how exploitations happen, different tools that you will use to try to break into it could be a website, a network, just a piece of code. And forensics, very, very technical, very hands-on. You have to really understand on a deep level different operating systems. It's very technical domain. And these the next couple of slides talks about the same domains and what skills and knowledges you need for each. We just went through it, but it's a little bit more like prescriptive. If you're interested in any of them, you can look up the words, the keywords. I'm not going to read through it, but you can Google and see what is it that would be required from you. And that helps you to a little bit navigate better and maybe do your research and then decide which one you prefer over the other one. And definitely reach out to other professionals in that domain, and they can explain what they do in their job better, and that will give you much better understanding and the feel for that specific domain. All right, what else can you do? How do you get into cybersecurity? Well, the first and the most obvious one is a LinkedIn presence. All of you know LinkedIn, and it's very easy to start connecting with other professionals. Definitely reach out to experts in the field and the companies that you really like. Ask for informational interviews. Those are great. When I started looking into moving to cybersecurity, I really did quite a few informational interviews, and it's just reaching out on LinkedIn and asking for a cup of coffee and asking to share their experience. You'll be surprised how many people are willing to share and they want to help, because at some point someone helped them, like myself. I'm more than happy to share my experience and to help in any way I can, because I remember how someone gave me a chance. So it's LinkedIn, like, presence is definitely it would be a key one that will help you to get into cybersecurity. Share some content. Share your thoughts on the certain article. Comment on someone else's, and it doesn't have to be sophisticated. Just connecting with the community and sharing your thoughts is sufficient. Another option is YouTube channel. It's amazing way for you to share your way and your learning when you are trying to get into cybersecurity and when you already is part of this field. My friend Rana, she actually was learning how to be the pen tester, and she was great at it. She started to do labs and putting them on YouTube channel. Prior to that, she presented in a different conferences. She tried to get her content out, and now she has her channel, which is really, really successful. People love it. She shares, and that's how she learns. So she shares her knowledge and is becoming a better professional, and she is recognized as an expert, and she definitely is. Home lab. This one is a great way to get practical knowledge without having actual job. So if you didn't have any experience before and you're worried about, oh, I don't have anything to talk about during my interview, you can have your own home lab. So you can try to secure your network. You can learn about cloud platforms. Microsoft posts a lot of content about Azure. You can read up that and try to get the free subscription for a limited time and just learn how to navigate the platform, different features. Then you can use that as an example during your interview. It's a great, great way to share your practical knowledge, and just saying that you've done that you had a home lab is so impressive, and it will differentiate you from a pool of applicants. Very few people actually do that, and when they do, they definitely propel faster than anyone else. Cybersecurity requires certifications. They are tend to be expensive, especially SaaS ones like GIAC certificates. So I would say for cybersecurity certification, start with whatever you're comfortable with. It could be Security Plus, something more foundational, or you can go with a more complexity like CISSP. There is a CISA, season. There are GIAC certificates. There are so many other certificates. Security Plus is a really good one to start with, and you don't necessarily have to go through the exam if it's too expensive, but you can show on your resume that you are actually studying, and expected certification is this time, and then when you get a job, then your employer, typically employers help with the expenses for the exams or actual training. So you can ask about that during the interview if that company supports continuous education. Companies typically realize the need for that because they also want to have experts who keep up with the knowledge. So you will find that at least the exams would be covered and your membership fees. Networking, we've talked quite a bit about it. It's definitely the key one. Definitely reach out, and it will open up doors for you. There are many resources out there for you to keep up with the industry. I personally like Risky Bees. It's a podcast from Australia. Crabs on Security, a very famous website. It's like a blog. Definitely check that one out. Sans has free posters. I love those. They give you a great visual representation of a specific topic. Dark reading. There's so many other ones. Feel free to share on the chat if you know some resource that hasn't been mentioned and you really love it. It's always great to share and see what others love to follow. And as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, more than happy to connect. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, or you can check out my blog, infoseclady.com. It's really not much to it, but it just gives you an idea how I started and how it could look like. But definitely, you can have a much better content, and you can have a YouTube and all of those other ways to present your content. And that's all I had. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, but also feel free to reach out if you want.
Thank you so much, Oksana. Like, this was really a motivating presentation, and thank you so much for sharing your experience and the resources on how to get into cybersecurity. So if anyone has a question, you can talk, or you can ask in chat.
If you have any comment, or it doesn't have to be a question, your experience that you want to share, I would be happy to hear. Could you describe what tasks does your current job entail? So currently, I'm a cybersecurity solutions architect with the Bank of Canada. So there are a few things that I currently focus on, and my tasks change with time. But the main one is assessments of the solutions, so we have a process we follow our defined framework how to assess vendors and solutions that are being implemented or introduced to the bank. And you assess and you define what are the cyber risks are, and you present them to the committee or for the business to decide whether they're comfortable with that level of risk being introduced to the bank. So that's in short. Any other question? How could an experienced professional, 10 plus, from different domain within software engineering could shift to cybersecurity domain? What are the options? Definitely, when you have, so from different domain. Okay, so meaning not within the cybersecurity, software engineering, you want to come to cybersecurity. If you are doing software engineering, I would focus on a cybersecurity domain that leverages that experience. So in this case, I would focus on application security penetration testing. So I would take a training or course where you prepare for the certificates within that domain. And once you get those foundational knowledge, so you get the certificate, you can demonstrate that you can do this job and just apply for these roles. Typically, it's not a problem if someone sees that you don't have a cybersecurity as an experience, but you have the certificates and you have the related experience to that cybersecurity domain. It typically, it should be an easy transition. And definitely all of those key points, just networking. So you find someone from within the field that you're interested in cybersecurity, ask for informational interview, talk to them, because sometimes they actually will be looking for someone, or in the future they will think of you as someone who wants to enter into this field. The tricky part for this specific case, you may need to be okay with a cut in your pay for a few years, because as you shift to different, like to cybersecurity after 10 years of software engineering, you're probably already making quite high number salary at that domain, that software engineering, and then you're coming in the cybersecurity domain at a lower level, but you will quickly propel and go further if you're willing to sacrifice those few years with a lower pay. Then I think you're good. Did you do any penetration testing? No, I've not, but I have tried. When I went to SANS conferences, I would always participate in the events when for pen testing. So I know the principles, I know the methodology, I know the tools. I've tried to use them, but I haven't done actual pen testing as work, and I'm definitely not proficient at it. And how can a Master of Computer Science graduate student transition to cybersecurity field that has more hands-on experience? To be honest, this is the most easiest way to transition to cybersecurity field is when you already have computer science background. Any entry-level cybersecurity role, you will have sufficient already background. So you have computer science. What you need to do is prepare yourself, get in, like for example, Security Plus, start studying for that certificate. It will give you the foundational knowledge so you can actually talk about cybersecurity domains, and you understand what cybersecurity is about in that specific domain that you're interested in. So you can have the intelligent conversation and follow the news, all of those resources that I mentioned. And by the way, hopefully I can share my slides so you can use those keywords and use that information. But as you go to career fairs or you just apply for a job and you show that you're expecting to get the certificate and you have computer science background, that's more than enough for them to invite you for interview. In fact, many cybersecurity companies are looking for students who are well versed in coding to build automation applications. Absolutely. Something else that I wanted to mention is that if you want to get into, like, you really hands-on person, you want to get into cybersecurity, the great domain is anything cloud security. If you start learning on your own, cloud security platforms, either it's Azure, AWS, or GSP, all of them are very popular. So if you, and there are so many resources, Udemy, Pluralsight, just the free articles from cloud providers. Use that information. Try to go through labs. Sometimes there are free labs. Sometimes you need to get a free subscription. Try that out. This is get cloud certificates. That's the easiest way for you to get into the cybersecurity. There is such a shortage of individuals with that experience, because whoever has that experience, they're employed. It's definitely not difficult to get the job within that field. You just have to know it. You have to have sufficient knowledge. I would definitely recommend to even to someone like with a computer science background. Also, DevSecOps, so popular, such a hot topic. Definitely one of the domains that you can quickly propel. And you, as someone who knows current knowledge in this domain, will quickly differentiate yourself, because you with the current knowledge could be a better professional than someone who has 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience of traditional networking, who didn't keep up with these changes. Cloud changes so fast. like the features, the services, the provision, they change so fast that if you don't keep up with them, you become outdated very quickly. So you definitely have to be the personality that like to learn. All right, I think we caught up with questions.
Yes, I think so. Thank you so much, Oksana. Like, we really appreciate you being here and giving this presentation. It was really informative. And thank you everyone for attending. I will publish the recording and share it with you guys. And would you be sharing the slides with us so I can send it out to the students?
Absolutely, I'll share them with you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you and bye.